Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? So, today we're going to be looking at the best US states for internationally trained physios. We're going to be looking at the salary, licensing, and jobs. Okay. So, if you're an internationally trained physio considering the United States, avoid the mistake of thinking that every state is the same. They are not. Okay. Their licensing timelines differ, salary ranges vary, and some states are far more international friendly, physio friendly than other states. So we're going to be looking at that in this video. So before we get to the states, let's just talk about how the US works for physiotherapists, like we've said before. Okay. First of all, physiotherapists are called physical therapists in the US. Okay. You must have your credentials evaluated by the FCCPT. You must pass the MPT exam, and then you must meet state-specific licensing requirements. So depending on which state you want to work, there's a board for every state. So that's why you need to know which state works and which state doesn't work. Now, the first state we're going to be looking at is Texas, okay? Texas stands out because there's a high demand for physical therapists in Texas. They also have a large healthcare system and a strong salary to cost of living balance. Okay, the average salary range for the physiotherapist per annum in Texas is between 85,000 US dollars to 110,000 US dollars. Okay, which is higher than many major cities. And then when it comes to licensing and jobs, there's a clear licensing pathway. There are a lot of employers that are familiar with internationally trained physiotherapists, and there are plenty of outpatient and hospital roles. Okay, so Texas is very good for those that want a strong pay without extreme living costs. The second state is California. Now, California is one of the highest paying states for physical therapists in the US. Okay, they have a massive healthcare market. The salary range in California is between 95,000 to 130,000 US dollars a year. Okay, but you have to deal with a very high cost of living. Okay, the licensing process may be a bit slower, and the job market is extremely competitive. So it's good, but you have to take all those living costs into consideration. Then the third state is New York. Okay, New York has a very strong demand in hospitals, nursing homes, and outpatient clinics, and they have high patient volume. That's just what the statistics say. And then the salary range is between 85,000 to 115,000 US dollars per year. Okay, urban areas in New York can be very competitive, and living costs are also quite high, especially in New York City. So um, New York is good for career exposure and experience. Then the fourth state is Florida. Well, Florida is very popular because Florida has an aging population. Now, I think this aging population thing is kind of consistent with the fact that many people go to Florida to retire. So after they've made all their money and everything, they go to Florida to retire. So that maybe that's why Florida has a very high aging population. Okay. And there's also no state income tax in Florida. Then the salary range in Florida is between 75,000 to 100,000 US dollars per year. Now, it's faster. The advantages of being in Florida, they're faster in hiring physiotherapists in rehab, outpatient, and home health. And there's a lower cost of living compared to California and New York City. So Florida gives you steady jobs and lifestyle balance, even though the salaries may be a bit lower, but you get that lifestyle balance. And then the fifth and final state we will be talking about is North Carolina. Now, North Carolina is actually underrated, but it has a growing healthcare system, and there is lower competition in North Carolina. And it has reasonable licensing timelines. Okay, the salary range in North Carolina is between 75,000 US dollars to 95,000 US dollars per annum, and it's great for internationals because if you're entering US for the first time, North Carolina may be a very good option for you, and then it has a low cost of living compared to the other cities that I mentioned. So if it's your first time in the US, North Carolina is a state that you should look at. So we've compared Texas, we've compared California, New York, Florida, North Carolina, and our overall take is that, when we look at all the options, pay range, cost of living, international friendly, Texas comes up at the top. Okay. When it comes to the highest earning potential, is California, where you have a high cost of living to deal with. And then when it comes to the entry point for internationals just getting into the US system, then North Carolina takes it there. Um, Best lifestyle plus demand, Florida. Okay, so there really is no best state, like we've said before. It really depends on what you want to achieve and what options are more appealing to you. So, that is it for today. If you want more comparison-based physiotherapy migration content, just subscribe to Everything Physio and let us know what you want us to look at. Okay? So, which country or state should we compare next? Let us know in the comments below. And if this video has helped you, remember to like it, share it, and subscribe. Have a great day.